Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hardwood Nation podcast with your boy CL Anthony and my main man, Bryce Ward. We taking it old school today. What's up, Bryce?
Not much. I just noticed that we match our backgrounds, and then our shirts are the contrast to the backgrounds. Both of us. I just realized that, so we're standing out today.
I see that. You see, I added a fish tank to the office last week. I had to. They was beating up on my boy, so I had to take him out of the big tank and put him in this little tank so he can recover.
Fish eat fish world out there, man.
Look, these damn African cichlids, I just call them my Africans. Sometimes I call them my niggas, but
They get violent.
Yes. Fish on fish crime.
You hate to see it.
Good God. Yeah, we're going to have a good one today. All right. So
don't say nothing too crazy. You don't want to get shot in the neck.
Yeah. Lord Jesus. The story that we've been covering the last 3 weeks, of course, and I just last week I felt pretty safe. I said, okay, I think this thing is over with. All the information is out. The NBA has started their investigation, and then, Lord and behold, we found some more money. So, as Michael says, just follow the money. So, in total, in an 18-month span, the Los Angeles Clippers / Steve Ballmer / the other minority owner guy had pumped $118 million into a fraudulent tree planting, carbon reducing company.
Mm-hmm.
We have emails. We have official Clipper memos. Bryce,
Is this the closest you can get to a smoking gun without actually having a smoking gun, as people would like to say? Is there just too much circumstantial evidence?
Is this the most ridiculous NBA story you think you've seen in the last 5 years?
Yeah, in terms of in general, but definitely on the this financial corporate, dealing with the league, circumventing cap. Yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, everybody is consumed with this story, even if they're not I'm listening to basketball stuff, and the once in a while they'll just touch on the new updates on the case, and then they just go, well, let's just wait and see what the NBA does, because it all looks pretty damning, basically. So it's a lot of that. I think everybody's just still just waiting to see what happens as more and more updates come out. Like every week, it seems like there's more evidence against them.
I don't think I can handle any more evidence at this point. I want to go down a different avenue today, because it appears that Adam Silver could have been caught in a little white lie, pun not intended. But how do you feel about the last week and a half of Adam Silver? Because I know he upset a lot of people talking about the clipping. And then now we have this situation where it looks like he said one thing, then kind of backtracked on it. What do you think is going on with Silver right now?
I think he needs the season to start for some distractions. To be honest with you, I think I think they're just the NBA, especially whoever handles the PR, and him having to go out there and speak. It seems like they've just been thrown a curveball, and they think they're hitting it good, but they're just foul tipping it, and people are just getting a little fed up, I think, with it. Because it's, I just think America in general feels a little over bullshit narrative at this point, and there's just so much going on. This is just another thing that's going on that's a big topic right now, but it feels like there's so much going on where people are just fed up with the fake narrative, and so this situation is no different. People are just tired of the runaround.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Silver's not great, I don't feel like, at dealing with the public in this way, or at least his PR team, whoever is setting up like what he wants to say, or maybe it's just him going out there and winging it, which I'd have a hard time believing. But it's like with the Cuban thing or the Bomber interview. These guys come out here with these explanations or these talking points, and it's just not. It's not vibing. It's just something is feeling off, or like they're trying to protect something. It feels more like that than just coming out and making like a true, honest statement about your intentions and how you see the situation. And so I think Silver has a harder time, I guess, convincing people of his of what he really wants to do or how he's going to do it. I don't think people vibe with Silver that great.
Got it. So, excuse me. Um, Here's the crazy part to me, as far as, and I think Pablo did mention this, or somebody mentioned this. If you're gonna go out and do PR or try to sway opinion or try to protect the league, why not do it against the guy that broke the story? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, instead of going on to a media partner like ESPN to try to deflect, just talk to Pablo. What do you think about that? Do you think the NBA is doing the right thing
That
by?
that makes too much sense.
What do you mean?
It makes too much sense. Also, I don't think I think Pablo knows so much and is so into this case. I mean, he has been. I think they said for like 7 months now. They've been investigating this thing. I don't think Silver or whoever wants to represent the league wants to go in there after the Cuban interview, especially because what are you gonna do? Reassure Pablo's case? I think that's all they can do. I don't think they can. I just don't think that's the look that the league official league representative wants to take. There's too much you can't control in that situation and how it goes. They want to control the narrative in the situation. They can do that on ESPN. Everybody's entangled. Everybody needs the same kind of result, a more positive result, I think, in the league's view, compared to Pablo, who's just trying to get the um, get the truth out. So I don't think they would do that because then they can't control the situation as much. We won't see that happen again. I don't think.
Got it. I just think it's foolish of them not to. And the only reason why I say that is because you have the clusterfucks of the first couple of interviews. It always looks like they're hiding something. We
Mm.
all know that the NBA is crooked to begin with and has been crooked for a very long time. You get what I'm saying? It's like
Do
no
you feel
one.
that way about every sports league now as you've gotten older? Do you just feel like all of those major, I guess, leagues, companies, whatever you want to call them, they all have a level of corruption?
Yeah, and I'm going to make a strange comparison here, so just follow me for a minute because I know you haven't seen this yet. So I went and saw him this week,
Mm.
despite all of the negative reviews and stuff like how people do. The movie was absolutely glorious. First of all, I'm not going to say it exposed a lot of things, but it highlighted a lot of things that we know about sports behind the scenes. Okay, including corruption, including owners, including secret societies and ditty parties. Okay, all that was in there. Okay,
Mhm.
so the only reason why I brought that up is because yes, I believe every league has a certain segment of owners or commissioners that's corrupted. Um, I'm not saying that Adam Silver himself is corrupt, but we know he works for the owners.
Mm.
Um, no one's going to jail from a basketball standpoint with this. No one's going to jail. Some other people may go to jail, but specifically pertaining to the Clippers and the NBA,
Right.
nobody's going to jail for this. But I still think it's gross because I think it was Pablo that said this. He was like, when you have someone that has a lot of money like that, they can get anything they want. And the one thing that Bomber wants that he hasn't been able to get yet is an NBA championship. So yes, he's going to do everything in his power, which may include circumventing the cap to ensure that the Clippers get a championship. So my last question to you before we switch gears. I've been saying that they need to take the team. Just take it, just nuke it, whatever. But some people say, well, you could just suspend the owner in the front office for a year. What do you
think? I think taking the team is the harshest penalty. Okay, in my eyes, it can't be worse than that, than yanking a team. Because that, I don't know how it will work after, but it's like you're talking about if Ballmer were to just sell the team, with him being like 99% whatever ownership, the amount of money that takes away from him is so huge. I mean, you could never find him. I feel like it's so disproportionate to what all the other punishments are even combined, because the way these teams are valued now. So I think stripping the team, I don't see as on the table, because I don't see it as like the most extreme situation, I guess. Not that it's not a horrible situation, but I think taking a team away, yeah, I think there would be something more egregious that would have to happen. So I think like millions and millions of dollar fines, multiple first round draft picks. For me, this would be for me. I'm not saying this is where I think they're going. Multiple first round draft picks and the voiding of Kawhi's contract, suspension of Ballmer in the front office, you said, for a year. And I also think Kawhi should be suspended for a year.
Oh, wow.
I think maybe not, or if you want to fine him, one or the other, one of those things. I think I think a suspension for a year sends a stronger message, but I would also do that for Ballmer in the front office. And then, I mean, whatever amount of money you think's fair. I mean, it could be, however outrageous. I just think stripping the team, I just don't think we're going to see that part. But as much money as you think's fair to charge, the draft picks, like I said, that really hurts a team. And the voiding of the contract and the suspensions for the year. I think those are pretty tough. I think those are coming down pretty tough when you combine them all together.
Here's my argument. Those great points you made. If this was a first time offender, I would be with you 100% on it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But Ballmer's tried to circumvent the cap before. He's been investigated twice before for trying to circumvent the cap, but this is the third time.
Investigated or not convicted, but found guilty of circumventing?
No, investigated and found not guilty of it.
Okay. Not that I agree with you that he wasn't doing these things, but.
Well, I'll say this. The DeAndre Jordan thing, they fined him for that. So I guess they found enough evidence where they was doing it.
Okay.
Other teams called the league office and said, hey, y'all need to investigate how the Clippers got Kawhi. This was years ago, and the NBA did that twice. Right. I think the Lakers and the Raptors were the teams that called. Okay. So now we're on investigation number 3. Like I said, if it was a first-time offender, everything you said would be accurate. But because we know there's a pattern here in about a 10-year span, I just think he needs to be punished, like harshly.
I don't really even disagree with you. However, I'm everything I'm hearing is saying Silver is going to have to respond to the pressure of the other owners. Mm-hmm. Even though I think that's like the harshest penalty, and what you bring up with the other infractions, those are all good points. Like, I don't even disagree. Like, you probably need to make send a message with Ballmer. I just don't know if the other owners would push for that, because I don't think that they would, necessarily want that to happen to them for any kind of reason. You know what I mean? It's like you can defend all the fines and the suspension, all this stuff for the illegal behavior, but there's a cap circumvention. But I don't think the other owners want to push for having teams yanked because of the possibility of whatever they don't want to be in that position, if that makes sense.
So we'll do the right thing, right? If you do the right thing,
that would help.
Yeah, if you do the right thing, you have nothing to worry about. Another example. God knows everyone hates going to Walmart. Everyone hates self-checkout. Everyone hates showing their fucking receipt when they're walking out of there, right? Anytime I walk out of a store and the thing goes beep, 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 I don't stop and look shocked. I keep walking. You know why? Because I know I didn't do anything wrong. I don't have shit to worry about.
I think it's funny to have the receipt and still take off running. Just to make it look funny. They're like, did he just, what? You're gone.
I've thrown the receipt at workers there when they've harassed me about having a receipt. And so it'll be a certain segment of person in front of me walking right out, doesn't have to show a receipt. Here I am, do-rag, t-shirt, walking out, one little thing in a fucking bag. Receipt? Get the fuck out of here, man. If you're going to do it to me, do it to everybody. All right. Moving right along. As if this offseason wasn't eventful enough, how in the hell do we have Patrick Beverly, who has 1 foot out of the door, and Trae Young beef? Like, what is this?
I think ex-NBA players who still feel like they should be in the NBA have a hard time not trying to get in the NBA spotlight.
This is for the first time in my life, I'm like, damn, I kind of like what Trae Young did. I was like, because he was calm, he was collected.
It felt, going back to what we were saying earlier about Silver and those guys, what Trae was doing and the way he was speaking felt genuine.
Yes. And, it was a couple of shots that Trae threw. But, I mean, Pat started this, but it was a couple of shots that Trae threw, but he didn't do it in like a disrespectful nature, okay? But I guess what threw me off was when Pat Beverly was like, you haven't been to the playoffs as much as me, so you can't even talk to me or some shit like that. What? Like, Patrick Beverly?
So we can be on the same page. Would you? I know he has some accolades, but would you call Pat a role player on those teams? Okay.
Yes.
So
at the ceiling.
Right.
Role player at the ceiling. Okay.
And good at what he did, right? But a role player nonetheless. If you're Trae Young, a guy who has to lead his team in scoring, and you run the whole offense.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the point guard, you're the passer, you're the shooter. You do everything. I would feel some kind of way too if I was Trae and had a role player coming to me and attacking me when I know Trae's been in the league for a while, but he's still not. How old is Trae?
He hasn't hit 30 yet. I know that.
Yeah, like he's still got a lot of time left. It just seemed like a short-sighted shot from Pat for like I don't even know what started it completely.
It is the most ridiculous podcast beef that I've seen, and the new media, they call it new media with these athletes doing podcasts. It's still fairly new in the grand scheme of things, but I don't understand it. I don't. It's like like you said, Pat maybe wants to be relevant, but I can make the argument that he was never relevant. He was on a couple of good teams, as a role player when he played, but he's not in the same caliber of player as Trae Young. Like
he would want to attack you for hearing you say he's not relevant. You know what I mean? People see themselves probably bigger than what they are.
They're delusional.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. They are absolutely delusional. And unlike the NBA, if Pat Beverly wants to have a conversation, we can have a conversation. We can talk. I ain't ducking nobody for the 3 people that watches this. I'm not ducking anyone. But I was very impressed at how Trae Young handled it. I really was. As people know who've watched us for years, I am not a fan of Trae Young. Have never been a fan of Trae Young, but he really carried himself well in this bullshit narrative that Pat Beverly was trying to demonstrate. I was just like, this is ridiculous. It's like ridiculous. And I will say this. Some of the things that Pat Beverly said was true. We've heard it for years about how certain players don't want to be on the Hawks because, we've heard the stories about Trae Young. I forget what you said, but it's like every time he's not traded, we're surprised that he's still like I don't know what pool he has in the organization, but he has some kind of pool. But this was ridiculous, man. I was just like, Pat, bro, if you trying to get back in the league, this ain't how you do it. You know what I'm saying?
Depending on how their year goes, I don't know what kind of direction Atlanta's going to take. They have a bunch of young guys, but it looks like they're ready to try to make an effort to make a run this season, but they still haven't re-signed Trae either. So that contract is up in the air still. I mean, is this season going to be a measuring stick for how likely they might be to re-sign Trae, or do you think he gets re-signed regardless, and then they decide on, if it's time to move on with the young guys? Do you think this is the season that finally decides, the extension or the trade?
Yes. No, the reason why I say that is because at this point in time, Trae Young has the best big he's ever played with. And that's no disrespect to John Collins. Everyone knows I love John Collins. But Porzingis, if healthy, is the best big that Trae's ever had.
Real quick, let me cut you off. What makes you think, why is the reason John Collins can't stay on the team despite it seems like how talented he is?
There's a question about his dedication as far as how much he loves the game, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Some players play to win. Some players play to get a check. His dedication has been questioned. He's in the club of Dwight Howard and Michael Porter Jr. as well. So that might have something to do with it too. But mostly is this dedication. That's what they question about.
The name popped up. It's just something I thought about.
Mm-hmm. I was really hoping that he could come back home to South Florida, but apparently that's never going to happen. So I'm going to give up on that.
Y'all can use him right now too. Norman Powell's about to get in that starting lineup for a couple of months.
So Bryce is referring to Tyler Hero. Look, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. Bryce texted me the other day and was like, "What's up with your boy?" And I did like question marks. I'm like, and then he said Hero. So I looked into it. A random foot injury, gonna be out 8 weeks. The Heat will be fine. We got enough. We don't use injuries as an excuse, so we will be fine. This is a test for me to see if we can really live without Tyler Hero. Even though we've made great playoff runs without Tyler Hero, but
y'all got some talent on the team. It's just a question of how it's all going to fit together.
Goes back to coaching. Yeah. Spoelstra gonna have to make it work. So
traditionally, you guys have. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm not saying that to say his job's going to be in jeopardy because we know that's never going to happen. But he just has to coach him up, and Bam has to. Especially now with Tyler going to be out to start the season, Bam's going to have to be stronger offensively because he dipped a little bit last season offensively. So,
if Powell can pick up where he left off, that's not a bad guy to have in your lineup either. So,
no, we'll be fine. We will be okay. So, it's a short one today, but on that note, we're going to wrap it up for this week's episode of the Hardwood Nation podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share our content. Drop comments below. We always respond. Everyone stay safe, and we are outie.